Okay, the next idea I'll show you is a sort of a common sort of tactic that happens with the queens. Sorry, the black queen. And that goes after bishop b5, the main move, d5. And then if white, for example, plays the immediate knight h5, black immediately jumps out with the queen to h3. Now this doesn't immediately win, as it might first appear, because white has the tactic queen f3 and then king d1. It's quite a complicated position, so it's not simple at all, but we'll look at this possibly in more detail later on. But again, this is quite a common idea, this answering the queen manoeuvre to h3 with queen f3 and king d1. Maybe just another example. In the line we looked at a minute ago. Bishop b4. And now instead of knight h4, bishop b5. And now knight h4. No, now knight h5, sorry. Now this queen d4 idea isn't so strong because white has king f1. So instead queen h3. Queen f3. And again king d1 will follow next with a complicated position. Another tactic we get quite often is well, it's quite common in the whole of Atomic really, is this material imbalance when one side gives up the queen for a bundle of pieces, usually on b2, g2, g7 or b7. In this case it's a little bit more unusual, because usually what happens is black will give up his queen. Sorry, white will give up the queen in order to take on g7 with a knight. So if we go through this, a6 is the move I recommend, and then say h4, stopping any option of the queen coming out here. e5, this is a common freeing move, and it's inviting white to play knight h5 because black has this move, bishop g4, threatening the queen and to swap off the powerful white knight. The natural move would be f3, and this would be a more sort of sensible continuation. But if white's feeling maybe a bit more adventurous, queen f3, and then we go into this, and we get this material imbalance. Another line where this can occur would be after d3, c3. Now again the typical e5, knight h5, bishop g4. Again, actually, black has the interesting idea that we saw earlier, queen f3, followed by king d1, with an interesting position. So black can really take his pick. Both of them leading to quite interesting play. Or in this case, actually, I think f3 would probably be more advisable. Although black seem possibly slightly better here as well. But after queen f3, queen h4, maybe e4 here. Black's got quite good attacking chances. But as you'll see in the theory section, this idea of playing e5 and answering knight h5 with bishop g4 comes up a lot. Another idea is what I like to call a dual threat tactic. If you saw the history sections that I did I made earlier, you'll have seen this game against Onyebenze that I played, where he played knight f6, and I made quite a big mistake here by playing knight d5 and allowing this knight d5 from black, which opened up the queen h4 threat as well as knight b4. And although I don't recommend this knight f6 move, this same tactic does appear in other variations as well. So for example, after d4 a6, Knight takes A takes A4. Quite a natural sequence. Knight F6. Bishop B4 is also very strong here, but Knight F6, F3, Knight D5 with the same idea. The final I don't want to look at it. It's a typical dynamic compensation that black often gets, because black often ends up being with a slight material deficit, and he has to make do really with a lot of attacking chances, which well, it's not bad if you're black really having these sorts of having that as an option. It reminds me actually of a different variation. Used to be one of my favourite lines: Knight C3, E4. One of the most popular lines was as follows. I won't explain these moves. It'd be a whole new series. But basically, we get to this position, and black has really good compensation here. What's the material? So 2 pawns for a piece, white's up, but the 2 bishops and these open files really give black a lot of good play. And I mean, especially in a practical game, black has more than his fair share of chances. And some of the lines that we get in the Knight H3 line really remind me of this sort of type of position, as we'll see. So after the typical moves, let's play Knight C6, and then swapping these off. And here, I mean, white has several options, but black just seems to get good compensation. Again, white's got 2 pawns for a piece, but what can you do here? Say Knight B5, swapping off the queens, and these bishops. So these bishops are already coming in with good play here. If I want to maybe swap these off, open up the D file. I mean, black's getting some good play here. Certainly not grovelling or like you often see in some variations of atomic. Okay, I think that's the final idea I want to show you. All those ideas will crop up again in the theory section, so it's good to sort of get to grips with them before we go down that direction. So hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back for the next video.